Hello there, welcome back to Blue Harvest Vintage Toys. Thanks for joining me. And on today's video, I'm going to be telling you how we brought our favourite figures to life with the action figure playsets. Since the inception of the toy industry, there's always been a place for the higher price point item as a special Christmas or birthday present. To begin with, this was mainly done by putting together single toys into a multiple packaging format. Post-war, Dinky and later Corgi Toys excelled at these fancy sets, in different boxes from normal, but still just with the ordinary vehicles. As toy cars began to fade, action figures took over their role on the toy shelves. Simply repackaging a set of figures was tried, but the glamour was not there. Coupled with this was the relatively low price of the figure, and even the vehicles that started to appear alongside them on the shelves. In order to give the retailer a large profit margin, the playset was ideal. This started with the very first action figure, Major Matt Mason, made by Mattel. A scaled down 6-inch doll for boys. Its actions were limited to bending its wire frame in different positions, but the series came to life with the additions of numerous playpacks, vehicles, and large space station base. This was the ultimate play area for boys in the late 1960s, and set the scene for what was to follow. The 1970s were relatively quiet for action-type figures until the advent of Star Wars in 1977, when the floodgates opened. As the figures were now just under 4-inch tall, numerous play environments could be made and sold. The larger playsets were still relatively thin on the ground, and Star Wars made only a few. Chief among them was the Death Star playset, which was made of plastic in America, but was completely different for Canada, Australia, and the UK by being made of cardboard. The Empire Strikes Back brought the Darth Vader Star Destroyer playset, while the Return of the Jedi brought the Ewok Village playset, and all three films had the giant Millennium Falcon playset, followed closely by the AT-AT Walker from the last two. A number of mid-sized playsets were also made, as the Jawa's Sandcrawler, the Cantina, and some Hoth battle scenes. Kenner also had another hit at the time with Indiana Jones from the smash movie Raiders of the Lost Ark. This featured two small playsets, the Map Room and the Streets of Cairo, and the biggest one, the Well of Souls. The stage had now been set, and almost all future action figure lines needed to have at least one large, expensive play environment. These sets are now thin on the ground, especially boxed and complete, as by their very nature they contained many moving parts and small accessories, plus far fewer were made. Searching these out now is becoming more difficult as the ranks of collectors swell. Some of the less successful lines had these large playsets in development, but never made it to production. The odd prototype sometimes comes on the market, but they're highly priced and very expensive. For those with smaller pockets, the standard playsets is more attainable. The evolution of the playset was in tandem with the current technology. Lights and sounds, water and slime features were standard, but electronics became more important once the toys could talk and interact. An early Mattel figure line, Captain Planet, could even interact with your television when watching his program. All these features cost money, hence the major playsets became increasingly elaborate and expensive, but only when the figure lines were popular enough to have a healthy market. Hence, the best playsets were only for the big boys in the play market. The ultimate in these is split between the Masters of the Universe gigantic Eternia playset and the Thundercats, almost as large, electronic Cats layer. Both are rare and very desirable. The only other sets to come close were a few large G.I. Joe versions. The more down-to-earth figure lines still produce some great play environments. Mattel's Secret Wars Marvel Comics line had the Tower of Doom, whilst the rival DC Comics Super Powers had the Hall of Justice. The real Ghostbusters had its fire station headquarters. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had the sewer playset. Jurassic Park had a huge electronic command compound, and Star Trek had playsets for most of the different series, the biggest being the Next Generation Bridge playset. The Power Rangers had the Power Dome, and Batman had numerous Batcaves. Smaller manufacturers did try too, such as the Supernatural's Tomb of Doom, or the Bionic 6 Secret Headquarters, but these have faded from the memory. Masters of the Universe had other large sets, dwarfed by the Eternia one, but well remembered and sought after, such as the Castle Grayskull, Snake Mountain, and the Fright Zone. If you want to start collecting playsets, there are one or two things that you need to be aware of. Firstly, the most coveted are still sealed in the boxes, but these are understandably thin on the ground. Most unopened sets are ex-shop stock, otherwise the temptation to play with them is hard to resist. While buying second-hand, you need to look closely to see if all the small parts are there. These sets invariably had small, easy lost accessories, so finding an open one that is completely intact is quite a feat. Coupled with this, many playsets have quite complicated cardboard inners to hold the pieces in place, and came with instructions, a decal sheet, and perhaps a poster or mini catalogue showing the rest of the range. The final problem is that many were one-time assembly, so cannot be put back in the box without the risk of breakage. This is just a flavour of the early evolution of the playset for action figures. The extra play value added for these great environments is hard to quantify, but many of these sets must have been, and probably still are, on the must-have list of the boomer generation, or even younger. Many of these figure lines are still available in the shops now, their longevity being a credit to the genius behind each and every line. These older playsets therefore are still current, despite their age, and only problems being the price, and as above, the condition. Happy hunting! So there you go, that's a quick look at some vintage playsets. Please leave in the comments below which playset, if any, that you want me to talk about in depth. As you may know, I do have the palitoy Death Star, and I've been talking about them quite a bit, and I have done a review on the Dagobah playset. So it might be nice just to talk about something different. If you would like to get my videos early, please feel free to join my Patreon. I think I've got about 5 or 6 stacked up on there waiting to go on YouTube. You can start at $1 a month, and it really does help this channel grow. Please stick around and watch more of my content. There are now over 600 videos for you to watch. But above all, thank you for watching this video and helping me play out of the toy box. And until next time, may the toys be with you. Cabbage Patch Kids. The first of these famous dolls, originally called Little People, were made entirely of cloth and sold solely at craft shows. Their name changed to Cabbage Patch when they began being mass produced in 1983. By the end of the year, nearly 3 million had been adopted.